As we're getting to the close of 2018 and we're hearing more and more rumblings of a PlayStation 5 and when that might be released, I know a lot of you guys are kind of upset about that notion, but a PlayStation 5 is definitely in the works. However, I just want to go back and take a look at 2018 because it is finally starting to dawn on me that this has been a remarkable year for the PlayStation 4 in terms of its game library, how accessible the console is, and just a wide variety of different factors making 2018 the best year for the PlayStation 4 easily ever. And I'll go through some different statistics, namely some scorings of different video games and what was released this year versus previous years, and really come to a conclusion on why I think 2018 has been an absolutely defining year for the PlayStation 4. And when you take a look at it from that vantage point, when you have this idea in your head that 2018 has been an incredible year for the PlayStation 4, probably the best ever, then I can kind of understand if you think like that, why do we need a PlayStation 5 at this point? Why is anyone talking about the PlayStation 5 if the PlayStation 4 is doing so well? And I also have some input on why the PS4 talks are ramping up, even though the PlayStation 4 is probably at its pinnacle right now. And I think why some of you guys might be unhappy with the PlayStation 5 talks is because a lot of you guys did pick up a PlayStation 4 Pro just a couple of years ago. And I even see comments of people saying, oh, I just picked up my PlayStation 4 a couple of days ago. Why are we talking about a PlayStation 5 already? Well, the PlayStation 4 has been out for over 5 years at this point, and a 5-year window is a very long time for a console. I know we had the PlayStation 3 for a very, very long time, but by the end of the PlayStation 3's life, if you were on the internet at that point, you'll notice that a lot of people were like, alright, at this point, we need a PlayStation 4. The PS3 probably overstayed its welcome just a little bit before the PS4 was actually released. But again, with the PS4 doing so well right now, and I even see some comments of people saying that 2018 has been a lackluster year for gaming, that notion I completely disagree with. I mean, we'll go over the facts in just a little bit, but 2018 has been an absolutely insane year. So how we're gonna do the comparisons year by year is we're gonna start at 2015 and work our way up to 2018 and look at the variety of different game releases. Now, I chose 2015 to start off, even though the PlayStation 4 was released all the way back in 2013. However, I think 2013 and 2014 were kind of a wash. The PS4 came out in late 2013, and all we really had to go by were the launch titles and a couple of titles after that. 2014 was an okay year, but really 2015 is when the ball started to get rolling in terms of the great game releases, and I think you guys are gonna see that. So let's take a look at 2015 first, and I do want to take a look at some of the lower rated games as well in the mid to high 80s. And again, we are using Metacritic as our barometer. I know not everybody is going to agree with that. However, I feel like this is the most objective barometer we could use, and I know you guys are going to have varying opinions, as do I, but again, this is the most objective measurement we could use. So with that being said, let's start off with the 2015 ratings. At the top at a 93, we had Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Number 2 was Journey at a 92. I really don't count that because that was just a port, but hey, I want to mention it anyway. Number 3 was Bloodborne. That was a 92 as well. Number 4 was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, 92. Shovel Knight was at a 90. And then we had Tales from the Borderlands Episode 5 at a 90 and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Hearts of Stone at a 90. Those two I don't really count either. Tales from the Borderlands is fantastic, but an episode of a game is going to be gauged differently than an entirely new release. So the games at a 90 or above, we had Shovel Knight, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Bloodborne, and Metal Gear Solid 5. That's a pretty solid lineup to round out the top lineup of a year. I thought the Talos Principle was a great game, and that scored an 88. Batman Arkham Knight was an 87. Fallout 4 was an 87 as well. But really, when you gauge at 2015 as a whole, I don't think it was that great of a year. Yes, Bloodborne was fantastic. Metal Gear Solid 5 was really great. I would still say that Witcher 3 is the best RPG of this generation, but I don't see a ton of depth. Now we move on to 2016, and here's where things get pretty good, although you'll notice that there aren't a bunch of games rated at a 90 or above. At the top, we have what would many consider still to be the best PlayStation 4 exclusive in Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. That scored a 93. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I thought that was a tremendous game, and at this point, I do think that is Naughty Dog's best work so far, so that is definitely deserved. And 2016 brought forth with it one of the best PlayStation 4 exclusives, so that right away highlights a pretty good year. Number 2 was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Blood and Wine. Great expansion, but again, I wouldn't count that as that is just piggybacking off of 2015's The Witcher 3, so we're not going to count that. Number 3 was Inside at a 91. Tremendous game by Playdead that a lot of people haven't played. Would highly recommend you to play that. Done by the same guys that did Limbo. saw a little bit of a delayed release on the PlayStation 4 by just a couple months, and it didn't get a ton of promotion heading into its release, but I would definitely recommend you to go back and play that. And the only other game that scored a 90 or above was Overwatch. That scored a 90 flat. So you really had only 3 games that scored a 90. However, in this case, you did have that top tier defining PlayStation 4 exclusive in Uncharted 4. 2015, you did have Bloodborne, but I would put Uncharted 4 a little above Bloodborne. However, where 2016 really shined is that you had a lot of depth in terms of the multi-platform releases. Look at games like Titanfall 2, Dark Souls 3, Battlefield 1. All 3 of those games scored a very high 89, and you can easily make an argument that any of those games could break that 90 threshold. You had games like Dishonored 2, XCOM 2, Odin Sphere Left Tracer, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Ratchet & Clank. That was a great PS4 exclusive, and that scored an 85. I would say that you can make an argument that that should have been scored higher. You had other third-party titles like Doom. So even though 2016 at the top end wasn't as heavy as 2015, I would say that if you just look at depth of the game releases, 2016 had a lot more depth than 2015. Now we move on to 2017, and once again, you have games at the top end less so than 2016 and 2015. Persona 5 was at number 1 at a 93, and then Undertale was at number 2 at a 92. So compared to 2016 where we had 3 games and compared to 2015 where we had 4 games, now we've only got 2 games, but once again, 2017's strength really came in from the depth. Persona 5 was a great exclusive. Undertale was a port of an existing PC game coming over to PS4, but that's a great game, so I do want to count it. But then you look a little bit below, we had games like Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier Automata, Neo, Injustice 2, Okami HD, Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age, Resident Evil 7, Pillars of Eternity The Complete Edition, Yakuza 0, Ys 8, Destiny 2, Wipeout the Omega Collection, Uncharted The Lost Legacy. Again, just like 2016, 2017, while at the top end was weaker than both 2016 and 2015, you have a lot of depth here, so I would say that 2017 is a great year. However, now that we've gone through 2015, 2016, and 2017, here we have 2018, and when you actually look at the Metacritic scores, 2018 has been absolutely bonkers. At the top, we had Red Dead Redemption 2 at an incredible 97, God of War was at a 94, Divinity Original Sin 2 was at a 92, Shadow of the Colossus was at a 91, Celeste was at a 91, Monster Hunter World was at a 90, and then Astrobot Rescue Mission was at a 90 as well. 2016, we had 3 games at a 90 or above, and then 2017, we only had 2. 2018 brought with it 7 games at a 90 or above. Now, one of those titles in Astrobot Rescue Mission is a VR title, but guess what? That's such a great game that I'm gonna count it anyway. 7 games at a 90 or above. That is insane. And 2 of those games are top-tier PlayStation 4 exclusives in God of War and Shadow of the Colossus. But it really doesn't stop there. We had those 7 games at a 90 or above, but we also get that depth that I've been talking about. Tetris Effect is at an 89. That's a PlayStation 4 exclusive, and that game's awesome. Marvel's Spider-Man is at an 87. Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age is at an 86. Yakuza Kiwami 2 is at an 85. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom is at an 84. Moss is at an 85. That's another VR title. Yakuza 6 The Song of Life is at an 83, and all of those games that I've just mentioned are either exclusives or at the very least console exclusives. And then when you strip that away and look at all the multi-platform releases in 2018, those are tremendous as well, with games like Dead Cells. Dead Cells is at an 88, Dragon Ball FighterZ is at an 87, Valkyria Chronicles 4 is at an 85, Soul Calibur 6 is at an 84, we had Assassin's Creed Odyssey at an 82. Just so many tremendous games have been released in 2018, and there is such an insane amount of depth at the top end as well as that, mid to high 80 range, that without a doubt, if you look at it from an objective standpoint, 2018 has been without a doubt the best year in the history of the PlayStation 4, beating out all of the previous years. And with a game lineup like this, I can understand why a lot of you guys are satisfied with the PlayStation 4 when you're getting 7 games that are scored a 90 or above in a single calendar year. That is absolutely ridiculous. And do keep in mind that there are a couple of games still to be released in 2018. I don't know how a game like Darksiders 3 or Just Cause 4 are gonna score, but those games definitely have potential to be good. So again, just looking at it from an objective standpoint, 2018 has without a doubt been the best year in the PlayStation 4's life in terms of great game releases. But also when you step away from that and just look at the accessibility of the console, we just came off Black Friday and the PlayStation 4 Slim console, the Spider-Man bundle, was available for $200. It is so accessible possible to get a PlayStation 4 now and get access to all of these incredible games, and I've been talking to people, and I know this is just anecdotal evidence, but I've been seeing it with people that own an Xbox One or just never owned a PlayStation 4. They are jumping on the PlayStation 4 bandwagon because of games like God of War, because of games like Marvel's Spider-Man, and those games in particular are winning gamers over more so than prior PlayStation 4 exclusives. As much as I loved Uncharted 4 and I loved Bloodborne, I really didn't see those games winning over people that didn't own a PS4 like games like God of War and Marvel's Spider-Man are doing. Maybe in the case of Spider-Man, it's just because Spider-Man has that built-in name recognition and everybody knows Spider-Man, and God of War, it's pretty hard not to be captivated by the game just by seeing a trailer and just seeing the gruesome nature of that title. But you get the idea, and then you have games like Shadow of the Colossus, that's an exclusive as well, and of course 2018 had to have been highlighted by Red Dead Redemption 2. We knew that that game was going to be great, but 2018 has just been an absolutely insane year for the PlayStation 4 that I can understand why you might be thinking, hey, let me just stick with the PS4, PS5 can wait another couple of years. But here's the thing, I really do think at this point the PlayStation 4 is reaching its pinnacle. Do you really expect games from a technical standpoint to get better than Red Dead Redemption 2, to get better than God of War, even Shadow of the Colossus? If you played that game, you know how incredible that game looks and plays. So it is coming to a point, even with the PlayStation 4 Pro, we are exhausting all of the power in the PS4, and with games like The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, I'm sure they will be incredible from a technical standpoint, but I really do wonder how they're going to compare to 2018's top titles. But 2019 is looking stacked as well. Heading into the year, it could be the most stacked year for the PlayStation 4 ever, and it'll once again make people question, do we really need a PlayStation 5? Because we already know that Days Gone is coming in 2019. We know that Dreams is coming in 2019. Ghost of Tsushima might have a 2019 release. The Last of Us Part 2 is almost a slam dunk to be an incredible game. And if we could somehow get Death Stranding for a 2019 release, well then man, the PlayStation 4 is looking to have an incredible 2019, but I think it's easy to say 2018 has been the best year for the PlayStation 4 ever. That's gonna conclude this video. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm on point? Objectively speaking, and just taking a look at the facts and the Metacritic scores, you really can't argue that 2018 has been a tremendous year for the PS4. And the game releases have been aplenty when you compare it to 2017, 2016, and 2015, not taking anything away from those years, but 2018 has just been on another level. That's gonna conclude this video. Again, sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.